I'm also an unapologetic introvert, and I like doing a lot of stuff alone. I like hanging out with myself a lot. I remember when I was looking for a place to rent for the month of September, and a girlfriend of mine was asking a friend of hers who also writes if she knew any writing retreats, and I don't want to go to one. I was just going to create one for myself. And her friend came back to her and said, "Oh my God, you'd have to have a vast capacity for solitude to spend a month alone." And I'm thinking, really? Oh my God. I do have a vast capacity for solitude. And I often say to my clients, solitude is a love-based pursuit. Different personality types need different levels of it. I know there are very broad brushstrokes saying, are you an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert, which is sort of sitting in the middle of the scale. But the way we recharge our heart's library, the way we recharge emotional energy, our heart, differs for people. And an introvert, like myself, needs solitude. I get peopled out. I need time alone. And an extrovert, like my darling Mr.Delicious, needs company. They get cabin fever with too much time on their own. And then you've got the ambiverts that sit somewhere in the middle. So for me to travel and for me to leave my nest, like going to Noosa, that's just another nest for me, because I've gone to Noosa at Christmases for the last 30 odd years, 40 years nearly, being in Queensland and most of my adult life, and it's just the home away from home. So to go to Noosa by myself for a month and unpack this book and get it to a finished state is just a delicious treat. However, travelling with my husband has been a challenge, and my darling Mr. Delicious, I call him Mr. Delicious, and I call my boys Big and Little Chicken, partially because of what I learned from the first book, so just try and keep people anonymous. And I have a surname, which is my second husband's surname, but, I've just, surnames don't really mean a lot to me because I've had so many. But I call my husband Mr. Delicious because I was 42 when I met him and he was 47. So I was nearly 42, I was 41. I hadn't had my birthday. And I met him and I just found his confidence amazing, his capacity to be extroverted but of substance, and he can talk about interesting things. Unless you get him talking about the Stephen Hawking black hole thing, he's an engineer, it can just go on and on and on. I don't find that interesting. God love you, sweetheart. But most stuff is really interesting, and he's the sort of man still after 11 years, when we sit in our spa or we sit and have a bit of dinner together, I never tire of talking to him because he's interesting, he's got lots to say, he's got a quick brain and he's a sharp brain, and well, for me, he's deliciously gorgeous. But the first time I kissed him, when he kissed me, I'd been single for a while, after my second marriage ended, and we'd been talking for hours. I'd met him at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we talked right through into early evening. We went for dinner, and he'd actually talked me to death nearly. I couldn't take any more of his conversation. He'd sold me. I thought he was sexy. I knew he was intelligent. I liked listening to what he had to say, but after 6 hours, he was struggling to try and find something else to talk about, and he said to me, "So what else do you like to do?" And I said, "Kiss." I just thought, come on, mate. I don't like the way you taste. This isn't going anywhere, and I needed to kiss him. And as an engineer, he said, "My God, you're the first woman I've ever met that comes with a map, that knows her heart." And he came over and kissed me, and he held my face. And I was 42 years of age. And it's like these fairy lights in my heart just lit up. They came on. It was just, it's still that way when he kisses me, my heart lights come on. And then after the kiss, I remember licking my lips, thinking, my God, that was like the best chocolate mousse I've ever had. I grabbed his face and kissed him right back, and it was on like Donkey Kong from that day to this.